What about weight? What if we want to lose weight? What do we need to do?
Well, essentially, people have been lied to for so long. When I see my patients in the clinic and they come to me for weight loss advice, I know that they have been on this merry-go-round for a long time, and they've sat in the front of dieticians and doctors and nutritionists and allied health professionals, and they've been told that all they need to do to lose weight is to eat less and exercise more. In effect, they're being told that they're not active enough, otherwise known as lazy, and they eat too much. In other words, they're also greedy. So the problem has just been put back onto the patient. You're greedy, you're lazy, therefore you're overweight, and it's all your fault. And if you can't control it, well, that's too bad. That's just a weakness of character. And this is an utter tragedy, Peter. People feel guilty, people feel shame, they blame themselves, and it's all completely incorrect. The major causes of obesity actually relate to hormones. And there is one hormone in particular that is particularly responsible, and that's called insulin. The role of insulin in the body is actually to build tissue. It helps us build our bones, helps us build our muscle, and importantly, it helps us store fat. So there's a condition called type 1 diabetes where you actually have too little insulin. And before we actually had insulin we could inject, patients with this condition would waste away to nothing, irrespective of how much they consumed. And this is really important to know because this is insulin acting in the reverse. Not enough insulin, you fade away. Too much insulin, you become obese. And two things contribute to excess insulin, which for the most part, in most people with what I'll term garden variety obesity, insulin is the cause. So the two major causes of insulin resistance, which leads to high insulin levels. So maybe we should talk about what insulin resistance is first. So if your insulin stops working effectively in and around your liver and your muscles, for example, your body responds by making more of it, by releasing more of it. Unfortunately, the insulin still tends to work quite effectively on your muscle stores. So while it's not dealing with sugar at the liver and the muscle very well, it is happy to take all of the sugar and these other things you're consuming and push them into your fat stores. So insulin resistance leads to a response by the body of high insulin levels, and that high insulin level is then able to push all the sugar and the fat that your body produces, called triglycerides, in response to the sugar consumption. Remember, this fat, the triglyceride fat, is not from the fat you eat. It's from the sugar you eat. And basically that coalesces inside your fat stores and your fat stores get bigger. So when it comes to losing weight, we have to first of all control your insulin levels. And what is the biggest trigger for your body to release insulin? The consumption of carbohydrates. And this is why when people start following the Defeat Diabetes program to control their blood sugars, as they see their sugar control improve, their insulin levels are going to be naturally coming down as well, and they're going to be losing weight. So this is a very, very happy side effect. And this might sound absolutely crazy, but I regularly have patients to me complaining that they're losing too much weight. Now, I look at them and, it's bizarre to me because I see people who look much healthier. The simple fact is, though, it's these chronic diseases, what we call diabesity, the combination of obesity and diabetes, is so common now that our perception of what is normal in society is incredibly distorted. We see people who are middle-aged, we're used to seeing them being plump or seeing them be overweight. And when we see them return to their size when maybe they haven't been that weight since they were 20, we think something's wrong with them. And this just shows how far wrong, off the rails we've gone in public medicine. But at the end of the day, if people are wanting to lose weight, the most common problem I see is insulin resistance, and the easiest solution for that is a healthy diet. that's low in carbohydrates, sugars, and seed oils. Now, obviously, there can be other causes. There can be other hormonal causes. I'm sure most people have heard of the thyroid hormone. And we know that if you've got a problem with your thyroid hormone, you don't have enough thyroid hormone, it's called hypothyroidism, then that leads to a sluggish metabolism that causes weight. Sometimes nutrient deficiencies. We know that iron deficiency actually contributes to weight gain because it affects your metabolism. It makes it harder for your body to burn energy, so your metabolism slows down. So there absolutely are other causes besides insulin, but if I had to pick a number one, that hits it out of the park.